Now is the time when the better students of you graduate, successfully getting their diplomas, all that stuff, finishing their studies in the Czech Republic. And I've seen a lot of people first either asking this question or second already being in trouble because of the situation. So I wanted to address this in this live stream. So for those of you who are joining, this will be topic specific live stream, which means that I'll be happy to answer your questions, but only if they are for or about this topic. I will not be doing like live Q&As about other topics today. So the thing is, if you study a Czech accredited program, let's say of a Czech university, then you are a proper student. You have the student visa initially, potentially then a student residence permit. Now you are graduating and you're thinking about what to do next. And you have a couple options, but there are some very important rules that you need to stick to if you don't want to get deported. So one thing is, or the important thing here to understand is that once you successfully graduate, you are no longer a student because you've graduated, you don't study anymore. So if you keep the student residence permit and you don't study anymore, which can happen in other circumstances as well, that you, for example, don't graduate and you leave the school, but that's not the topic today. So let's say you successfully graduated, your residence permit is still valid for the next 3 or 4 months or whatever, depending on when you graduated. You cannot just stay here until the end of the validity of the card and then apply for something else. You should do it as soon as possible. So what options do you have basically? One, yes, you could stay until the end of the validity of the card, then leave the Czech Republic, return the card, and you're done. You have a Czech diploma, but you don't want to live in the Czech Republic anymore. That's great, that's fine, that's completely okay. Second option is that you want to continue studies. So let's say you finished your master's, okay, could have, but generally more likely option is you finished your bachelor's and then you want to go to master's, which is completely fine as well. So you just basically extend your student residence permit, you are fine. Third option, which is the important one, is switching to a Jobseker residence permit. Because if you successfully graduated from a Czech accredited university program, you can apply for a special type of residence permit called Jobseker residence permit, or also a residence permit to start your own business. But here's the important thing, or a couple important things. First, you can only apply for this right when you've graduated and you still have the valid student residence permit. Because sometimes people switch to an employee card and then they realize that that's not the right way, and then they say, okay, I have a Czech diploma, I graduated, I want to get the Jobseker residence permit right now. Or they don't have any, they haven't studied at all and they want to apply for a Jobseker residence permit. So unfortunately, or I don't know if unfortunately, but it doesn't work like that. You can only apply for the Jobseker residence permit if you've successfully graduated and you still have the student residence permit. If you switch to something else, you can no longer get the Jobseker residence permit. So that's one important thing. Second important thing, which is the whole video is about today, is that you have to apply for the Jobseker residence permit within 30 days after your graduation. So you graduated, and then within 30 days, you have to apply for a Jobseker residence permit. If you don't do so, you can potentially even get deported, and that's for the reason that you are no longer fulfilling the purpose of your stay. So you have a student residence permit for, let's say, 2, 3, 4 next months, but you're no longer a student. So you're not fulfilling the purpose of your stay, and that's tolerable for some time. But in case of the Jobseker residence permit, it's only 30 days. So within 30 days, if you want to get the job seeker residence permit, you have to submit the application to the Ministry of the Interior. If you submit it later, it might potentially still work out, but you also risk having that residence permit denied. Your student residence permit is no longer valid either at that point usually, and then you will have to leave and you will have very hard time coming back for multiple reasons. Of course, depends on your nationality and availability of appointments, all that, but you will also have a denial in your records and the reason for the denial as well. So that's very, very important. If you've just graduated and you want to go for the job seeker residence permit, you have to do it within 30 days from graduation. Then another option would be, for example, switching to an employee card or a blue card. Even though there is no such specific rule saying that you have to do it within the 30 days, the same for the student residence permit extension if you just went from bachelor's to master's. But I would still recommend doing it as soon as possible because it's kind of safe to assume that if the ministry is so strict about switching to the job seeker residence permit to still kind of fulfill the purpose of your stay, they might be similarly strict when switching to something else. So either way, whatever you want to apply for, do it as soon as possible, ideally within 30 days from graduation, so you don't face any trouble and you don't get deported, you don't get into serious problems with your residence permit. I think that's generally it, what I wanted to say today, but let me now go through your questions and see if they are relevant to the topic. Chaser Dream, hi. Suleiman, good evening, sir. Good evening. Oasim Yahumi, is it possible to say that I have the intention to stay in the Czech Republic after graduation in the interview, or will be directly rejected after the answer? That's not exactly connected to this, so just very briefly, you can say kind of whatever you want if it all makes sense, because it very much depends on the decision maker dealing with your case. So Ruman Miak, hi there. Hi, do you guys also have a Slovakia family reunification? Not at this moment. Rohit Yangra, hello, sir. For Czech embassy second interview, ministry has requested me 16 June, but the embassy decision interview, how many times? Okay, so this is not relevant to this topic. Let's see if there are any questions regarding this topic. I will answer those, but this is not an open Q&A live stream, so I will not be answering other questions here. So Biniam, hello Jan, I got accepted to TBU in BSc and submitted visa application June 17. Okay. Yardim, help. I have already employee card on the basis of my studies. Now my card is still valid for more 6 months. So my question is, I need to inform the ministry that I have completed my studies. If you have the employee card, that's kind of related. So I'll answer that because if you applied for the employee card as a student and you got the non-dual employee card, then once you finish your studies, you should deliver the diploma to the Ministry of the Interior so they see that you still have free access to the Czech labor market. Because if you didn't graduate, then you would lose the free access to the labor market, and hence you would not have a valid employee card, and hence that would be a very big problem for you as well, potentially. So yes, definitely, if you've graduated, if you have the diploma, delivered to the Ministry of the Interior so they have it on the record and they know that you still have free access to Czech labor market. Oli, very relevant to the topic, what is the difference between a lentil and a chickpea? Very, very important and very relevant. I'll be happy to answer that question though if you come for the open live Q&A live stream that I will do at some point in the future as well. That's a very good question. Hey, hi Jan, I have no question to this topic today. But it's always nice to follow the live stream. Thank you for all the information, help and support. My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm happy you guys are watching and this is helpful, so it motivates me to keep doing it. I would not pay 100 euros to have a lentil on my face. Oh, okay, so that wasn't a real question, that was a joke. A good one, a good one. I would not pay 100 euros for that either though, for the second part of it, but I can imagine there is a market for that. Okay guys, no further questions related to this topic. Yeah guys, Briam, Rohit, I understand you have questions, but this is topic specific, so I want to keep it short and sweet. But I'll be happy to answer your questions either in the comments of the video once it's uploaded, or the next time I do the open Q&As live stream. So there is any time limit to inform the ministry for if it's the question regarding the diploma, and not really, but I would do it as soon as possible as well, because you only have the non-dual employee card with free access to the Czech labor market based on your studies. And again, once you stop studying, if the ministry does not know that you graduated successfully, they might also assume that you've lost the ability to work, and that could potentially be also tricky. So definitely deliver it to them as soon as you can. So guys, thank you very much for joining. If you find this helpful, please share it, like it, comment. I'll be happy to answer your questions in the comments as well, even if they are not related to the topic. And I'll see you again Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Good night, guys. Bye-bye.